Everyone, this is Ashley Sheree from the Soapwire Podcast brought to you by the TV Cave. And this episode of the Soapwire Podcast is proudly sponsored by Dresser, like Fran Dresser and spelled that way, and Cheslow, PA, helping individuals and families throughout New Jersey with estate planning, real estate matters, estate administration, and guardianships. So whether you're planning for the future or navigating important family and property decisions, their experienced team is there to help guide you when every single step of the way. Learn more at Dresser, like Fran Dresser, Cheslow.com. That is Dresser, Cheslow.com. And let's get into the show. Hi, everyone. Once again, I am Ashley Sheree, and as you can see, I am by myself, but I just had to talk about my stories. Y'all already know I got to get things off of my chest. So I won't be talking about everything. When I do this, I tend to do it on what storylines truly moved me, whether it made me happy, frustrated, sad, or upset. So everything won't be discussed. It's the things that moved me the most. And also going down to breaking news. I didn't see anything in breaking news. If you did, comment and let me know what you saw. So that means we're going to be moseying right on along to one of my favorites. BTG, Beyond the Gates. Okay. So essentially we started out the week with Anita having her last chemo, ringing the bell, and also them telling us, when she was in a meeting with the doctor, just all of her next steps. And the thing is, when you are dealing with chemo and the last of that treatment, it is not the end. There is still a long process, and also not even talking about just the mental strain that it put on you and the emotional strain, and also what that put on your caretaker and just family in general. So Anita does truly have a ways to go. But I have to say too, I just feel like Beyond the Gates handled this so beautifully. I say this often as, a child of a mother who had breast cancer and died from it. Just seeing them go through all of the steps, and it is a heavy topic, but it also is a topic that needs to be brought up and people need to be aware about it still. In all honesty, I'm about to go get my mammogram, and it's nerve-wracking for me, but it's something also that needs to get done. So any women out there too as well, please make sure that you get yourself checked. I've also had, other family members like an aunt and even one of my close friends also had to deal with breast cancer as well. So this is something that truly affects us all, and also it truly affects Black women. So please make sure you get checked. And like I said, I just appreciate Brianna Gates, being real about this, stating everything that's going to come next. And that's not it. It's not going to be done. It is a long process. They just handled the storyline really beautiful. And I could go on and on as I already have just about it. But yeah, I truly did love it. And then also I really do appreciate how Andre is really a part of the family. Um, I know that Bill and Danny are gonna get back together. That's inevitable. But what I am truly hoping for is one of those triangles that lasts for a very long time. I do believe they have a good triangle on their hand. I do feel like it can be an amazing story. So I just hope she don't break my boy heart. I love Danny and Andre together. I love how he treats her. Like sometimes you just need to see the good treatment because toxicity has run its course. It's run its course in my life. So just seeing her be treated well, and not have to deal with Bill's cheating self and seeing him think about the past. I mean, you saw how he thought about when Naomi was going to Platinum Dub and the cotillion and what that did to him. And I just feel as though he just hasn't done enough either. I can talk about him and Ted not doing enough to be back in the good graces of the Dupree women. And I can literally go for hours. So I'm just not going to do that there because then we also have to talk about Nicole and Ted. So it's coming. But just to see how Andre is truly a part of their family, because that's a big moment to be invited, to Anita's, coming together after she's done wrong to Belle, and not even the grandchildren was there because they thought it would have been too much. But Andre is actually invited, like I loved it. There's nothing else to say about just how much I truly, truly loved it and appreciate it. And then also, so the plasma ring is still going on. Of course, Naomi and Jacob have, whatever they're doing and what they're going on there and still sneaking around. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't get caught because they've been doing this for too long to not be caught. He is undercover. Like, I mean, they've seen each other a lot of times for a cop who's been undercover. And I know it's a story, so you have to suspend belief, but I'm like, now come on. It's like at least once a week. It's just like lately. To me, that's what it feels like. So there's that with them, but also Ashley and Grayson come up with a plan to essentially, act like they're broken up and doing it in front of Leah, of course. So Leah doesn't have any suspicions or things of that nature, and she believes they're done just so Ashley is not in danger. And it looks like people are buying it. She slapped the mess out of him. But for the time being, I should say. And then he also decided to make her essentially, I believe it's the executive of his estate. So like, his mother would be okay, which I thought it was like a huge deal. He hasn't even known Ashley that long, but hey, if you like it, I love it. And maybe you saw something there. So who am I to judge? Who am I? And then going on along, Nicole continues to have fantasies about Ted and, laying it wide and spreading it wide, laying it, drop down and get your ego on, girl. I state that do I feel like they move too fast with this? Yes. But do I feel like that can also be something of Nicole not truly processing and dealing with her feelings with Ted? I believe I said this before as well. To me, it just looked like she just jumped into dealing with these other two men and making sure she pushed through that divorce without even really sitting with herself. There is no way that a 30-year marriage, two children, multiple miscarriages, and then finding out that your husband cheated and had a side baby who's now an adult. And he didn't have no clue, you didn't have no clue. It essentially destroyed also the relationship for that time being with his daughter that he has with you. So to think that Nicole doesn't have any emotional baggage that she hasn't dealt with, come on now. Of course she does. And we didn't see her deal with it. And they always say doctors are their own worst patient. I genuinely feel like this was just another way to show that Nicole has not essentially dealt with her feelings for Ted. And that's why they're bubbling back up because Carlton and Kyle appear to not to be doing it for her. And it may not just be sexual. People are complex individuals. It could be emotional. There was something with Ted, she loved that man down, and then to have your life implode, there's no way that there's not gonna have an effect. It's just no way. And Sis was going around acting like everything was cool. So I felt like she only had that one night when she confronted Ted. And then when she almost choked Dana, Honolulu, Sherry, all her names. So that's what I feel. And also, I just believe in sexual freedom too. Just being that person, that people should be able to express themselves any way they feel. So if she wants to mess with Carlton and Carl as she was getting through her relationship, well, after her marriage, I felt she had every right to. But it still doesn't negate the fact that Nicole has not dealt with her feelings for Ted. I do not believe she ever stopped loving him. I do not believe she dealt with what happened at her anniversary party. I just believe there are a lot of factors for her that essentially were not dealt with. And I'll definitely stand firm on that. But also with that, so she's there talking with Vanessa about it, and Vanessa is encouraging her to like spin the block. No, Vanessa. What? No, not the way that Leslie Dana Honolulu Sherry is talking about her Tootie Woody and wanting to get back with him. Like, no, but you didn't tell your best friend that though, right? Because also that means Nicole is in danger of being harassed. Why would you encourage her to do that? Do I feel like Nicole needs to spend time with herself and figure out if she still has these residual feelings for Ted? Yes, I do. Do I think that she should jump back in it with Ted? No, I don't. I genuinely feel she needs to take the time to figure it out. But it doesn't help for her to jump on Ted's bones is and now to know that Leslie Dana Honolulu Sherry feels that this man is, the end all be all. And that's also Ted's fault too, because he really has not checked Dana Honolulu Sherry. He hasn't. And that's also my problem with Ted. Like, you are not this golden retriever male. You are literally a punk. I gotta say it. He is a punk in a lot of different aspects. I need him to be a man. Tell Leslie Dana Honolulu no. Also, we do not need to co-parent together. That is not needed in this thing that we're doing. Also, because Ted can build his own relationship with his adult daughter. He really, really could. He does not need to be there. He does not need to be there when Leslie Dana and Lulu is there. He doesn't know how to have boundaries and state it. And Shanice called him out on that. And what does he do? Calls her aunt to sweeten the pot. And also, that's another thing too. So, like, why are you reaching out to my aunt and not really telling her the whole shindig? Whereas you told her you had no interest in Leslie Dana Honolulu Sherry, you really didn't specify about Nicole. And Shanice is smart. Shanice has intuition. So like I don't appreciate how it's kind of making her seem a little bit insecure about herself being with Ted, but I can see like how being with someone like Ted can happen, you know. It's a twinge, not crazy or overt or anything, just a twinge of manipulation that I feel like or is he in denial and not seeing what he is doing? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this man is just in denial because I don't really feel like he explicitly explained to Monica what was going on. And then you got Monica going to talk to Shanice like, open your chance up to love, baby. No. No, it should have been like, tell me why you feel this way. What's happening here? Like I felt like she should have been more of an opening ear instead of pushing her more towards Ted because if her intuition is screaming, she needs to look at that. Because it could more so be of a lesson learned. In the past, I had this man cheat on me, and my intuition wasn't there. Now it is. And it's rightfully so, as it should be. Also, things got nasty with the Belclair family and Nicole and Samantha. See, and this is my thing. Nicole is too much of a rise above it all. No! Listen, Chessie and Anastasia was going in. They ate them up. And I was just sitting there waiting, just waiting for them to like, get a nice little jab in, like, but we didn't get no We just got one simple line, go to hell. I'm like, Nicole needs to be able to get mad and express it and utilize it. Because you cannot tell me that every psychiatrist is like this. You can't. I refuse to believe it. And then Anastasia was going in. And I feel like every time, except for when it pertains to Haley of all people, that Nicole doesn't go in like she should. She should still have smoke for Eva, even if it's more on the lines of like, you know what? I'm moving forward, but listen, I will never forget what you did to me. I will never forget that you went along with your mother in order to hurt me specifically. A woman that had no idea. I will never forget what you did to Laura. But as an accomplice, like you knowing after the fact and not saying anything. So there's that. And then also Leslie Dana, Honolulu Sherry. She don't go in on her like she should. I'll never forget the time that Leslie Dana, Honolulu Sherry basically threatened Kat and Nicole did nothing. Why can't they allow my good sis to go off? I just want her to go off so freaking bad. So bad. She should have went off on Anastasia. She should have been stern with Eva. She should have also been going off on Leslie Dana, Honolulu Sherry. Like it's just like, are we like really serious right now? And that, oh God, it just, oh, woo child. But in turn, that makes Samantha consider dropping out of Platinum Deb. So then here comes Eva. She speaks life into her and, bop, 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 bop. And so, of course, Samantha changes her mind and, essentially she's going to do it. So there's that. I love my BTG. It's my favorite. So, but they need to do better by my fave character too, as well. I love both of the Dupree sisters, but I need to see more Spunk and Nicole. I really, really do. I really do. So let's go on and chuck it on down to Bold and Beautiful. Oh, have y'all gotten the app yet? Get that app, y'all. Get that app. That's all I'm saying. I'll probably never leave the house. So get it if you can. They have just about every single episode on the app. But going back into Bold and the Beautiful, of course, so Hope is still disgruntled about her line not being produced when it was supposed to be. And I get it, her feelings there, but also like I understand, but Couture is, you know, Forrester. That's what they do. That's what means a lot to them. So, granted, Hope for the Future came at a time that was needed too, but their main focus has always been Couture. So, yeah, but then she decides that, of course, she's going to ask Brooke to fight for the co-CEO position, which also kind of like came out of nowhere because it's not like Steffi is doing a bad job. It's not like Ridge is doing a bad job. Steffi loves being at the helm, with her father. And also, did they forget that Steffi was like the only one to work hard to get Forrester back and got more of the shares than anybody else? Just a thought. Did they quite possibly forget that? I'm just saying. And so Brooke, of course, goes to her old methods of seducing. So essentially, she wants, work to seduce Ridge. But once Ridge and Steffi have that conversation, he does acknowledge to Steffi that she is, a sharp businesswoman. She stays on her toes. She knows what needs to get done, and she does it, and that's what it is. And Steffi also is just like, but if you essentially know all that, why are you trying to take my company and, a co-CEO with your wife instead? It's giving that she wants to be the new Stephanie and Eric Forrester, and that ain't happening, Captain. So I mean, it was good. So and that needed to happen. Ridge does essentially wind up agreeing with her finally because Ridge needs to put his children first. Whatever woman that he has in his life, his children always took a backseat in my eyes. So finally decides, you know what? He's going to agree and thinks that Steffi is absolutely correct and, so then that means he's gonna have to talk to his wife that it didn't work out the way she wanted to. And meanwhile, this is going on. The Logan crew over at Spencer, they're trying to figure out it will Ridge and, Brooke be co-CEOs, will it work out? But, they just want to do for their family only. But I'm like, Spencer, you guys are like that too. So like, come on, let's be real. And that's how I feel like rich, wealthy people are anyway. So that part. But Bill was the only one to really like believe. He's like, that ain't gonna happen. Steffi was still gonna be co-CEO. Like, ain't nothing gonna be changing over there, bruh. And he was he was definitely right. He knew. So, and then also we did have Elektra and Dylan makeup, and that's like whatever to me. Because to be honest. If I was Dylan, there's no way we ever being friends again. I feel like she kind of begs to be Electra's friend, and ain't nobody over here begging, bruh. Ain't nobody over here baking. So like she does tend to bake a lot. And then on top of that, what's gonna even make it worse is that she has not told Electra about Remy being her cousin. That was so out of left field. But hey, if they like it, I love it. But yeah, so she hasn't told her that, and now he's in there sneaking around Forrester. And I'm just like, bruh, have you not changed? Like, why are you sneaking in there? So what? Your cousin works there. You don't. And you know what you did to Electra. Like, bruh, please sat down. Please sit down. I just like, some things. Let's go on and mosey on along today. So where we left off with Days, essentially everyone saw Lexi, the Demira family, and she's rushed to the hospital. Everyone is definitely happy, but still shocked as well. Lexi is then told about her missing years, and she's like, it just felt like a long nap. Like my son is grown. Like when did this happen? That was my baby. Like, like what is going on? So I kind of like it. I kind of like it right now. I do, like I always say, I do need to see more of like Abe and Theo and Lexi. Like they need to be the forefront of the story. And also Paulina was able to talk to Marlena and Chanel just about what she feels and how everything may be affecting her. Should she just give up with it? Like, what is happening? Like, it's just a ball of confusion, as the Temptations would say. So it's just a ball of confusion in her mind right now, and essentially really trying to figure out the next steps. Amy Choi is still upset. She is ready to have cyberbullying charges against especially Holly. Also Jada told them like, search and recovery is like now I believe I forgot the other term for when they think that they're deceased. I forgot that, but that's essentially what they're doing. And like Amy was just not trying to hear it. She was beyond upset about all of that. And she even looked at her husband like, like he's crazy too. Like what do you mean type of thing that, we just gonna give up. So there was that. And then also with her, I was just like, girl, how you gonna go into somebody's house? It's somebody's mansion at that. The Kiriakis mansion and just go off. Amy was going. Oh, she was letting Holly have it, okay? But Holly also did stand up for herself too, which I felt like needed to happen because two things can be true. You can definitely feel bad about the situation that has occurred and still remember like this itch really did some crazy things to me. And y'all know I did love like Rachel. I thought she was going to be a good villain, and I always said I hope they don't take her over the deep end like Days does with some of their characters, because there was something there in Rachel to like, well, so Rachel is her name in real life. I'm sorry, with Sophia. Rachel Boyd plays Sophia. Lord, I'm getting the names mixed up. Child, be I gotta laugh at myself sometimes. Um, but Sophia did do some crazy stuff. She really did. So like, I get Holly's frustration, but also Amy Choi can't just be running up in people's house telling them off. And Sarah hears it, and Sarah puts her 2 cents too, and asks her to get the F up out this house, type of thing. Which I agree that needed to happen because you're not gonna be sitting up here yelling at my niece, like in our house. Like, girl, if you don't get yourself on, I am so sorry about your loss, but not today. No, no, ma'am. We'll handle this another time, essentially. So yeah, so all of that essentially happened. Philip also gives Gabby some of Vivian's handwriting samples so they can once again determine that Stefan didn't write or sign the divorce documents as well. And I also feel like this makes Gabby's guilt for setting the bug up in Xander's office even more. Just saying. Steve likes that Alex is going to step up and be a father to Kelsey. But Alex still says that also Stephanie is his priority, and Steve's like he's been in that situation before and what Trip had done in the past and everything like that. I do like that Steve was able to talk to him and be like, you know what? You doing right. You doing good. Like this is what needs to happen. That child needs her father. So do what you need to do to make sure that your child is taken care of. And also don't forget about my daughter. So that was good and that was needed to happen. Another conversation that I really truly loved was the conversation between Gabby and Ari because it was like a real talk. Once again, crucial conversation between a parent and child, a mother and a daughter. Gabby wasn't there for a lot of Ari's life. And unfortunately, a lot of it wasn't due to Gabby's own being. Like she was in jail twice for a crime that she didn't commit. And one of the crimes lasted for like what, maybe 2 years or whatever like that before they did the recast. So like I completely understand why Ari's looking at her like, now you want to step up and do all of this. Where was you in the past? And a child is not going to think logical. And any child of a parent is not going to think logical. You could be a big old adult and still feel some type of way about how your parents treated you. It's freaking normal, like it's expected to happen. And then, Gabby also having real talk about everything that happened. And two, like Ari's fathers, they wanted to move away. So our Gabby would have to go down there sometimes. There were a lot of mitigating factors for why Gabby wasn't around. I'm not gonna cap for her because I don't cap for Jason, Morgan on General Hospital for not being for being a deadbeat dad. But the difference is he continues to choose, Carly and Sonny over Jake and Danny, and I stand by that. But going back to Gabby, she had a lot of reasons, especially when she was thrown in jail, more than once. So Ari's mainstay of a parent was her dad's. That's what it was. It was Will and Sonny. So that's what she knew. I do feel like she has every right to feel how she feels about Gabby not being around, and now you want to police who I'm dating. It's just like all of this stuff. So they did clear the air as much as possible. And then essentially, Gabby went into telling her about Stefan and how she did love him and maybe things could have been different, like if she would have known that that was a fake at the time, even though she really does love Philip right now and she's with him and vibing with him, which I also feel is normal. Like we knew Gabby still loved Stefan and she did want to make it work, but it was told her that he left town. So, essentially she has to move on. And that's just what it is, type of thing. So yeah. Moving on. Oh my goodness, with days too. I have to admit and say that Jada and Sean so cute. I really wish that they stopped playing with them. Like, I really, really wish that they would stop playing with them and just get my couple together. Like, please get my couple together. That's all I want. They have the chemistry, they vibe really hard. Like, all of that is needed. Let's stop playing around, okay? Let's stop playing. All right, let's mosey on along to the two other soap operas that I really I'm gonna keep that to myself. General Hospital. Mm. So yeah, moseying on there. My favorite characters are Liz and Trina, and going to Liz. So Liz and Dante realized that it was Rocco. And also, I know y'all saw how Dante was looking at my girl. Okay, he was like, he was about to slop her up like a biscuit. Cause sis had a date going. So and she did. She looks so cute. Like I love Rebecca. She plays Liz. She plays Elizabeth Weber. I'm never calling her Baldwin. And I think she's just so adorable. She had the hair flowing. I said, I know that's right, sis. Get ready for your date. Mm-hmm. So and this is before this, they realized that it was Rocco and everything of that nature. But Liz is going on a date with Rick, and he gives her this painting and things of that nature. But I really feel like it's going to be Liz and Dante together. Yes. Anyways, additionally to Dante and Lulu, they have a small confrontation about everything that's done. And, also is brought up, Michael is brought up because it's true. Like, you sent your own brother to jail. Bruh. Like, I'm not sending, my family member to jail unless they touch me or hurt me. Then that's something different. I just, that's just something different. But if I knew that they did it in self-defense, I'm not saying nothing. That ain't my business. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So I would not have said a thing. And it's right. Like, I don't feel like people can really trust Dante not to say anything because, he's so holier than thou. And also, he's just Mr. Do the right thing, Dudley Do Right. So I get why Lulu wouldn't tell him anything. And Michael is like a prime freaking example. I do wish that they bring up the fact that Lulu did ill someone in self-defense. I think that would allow her and Rocco to bond even more about having similar experiences. Even though it was different, they still illed someone. You know, uh, Rocco was trying to save Jason and Lulu was trying to save herself because Logan was crazy. They always give Scotty retcon kids who ain't gonna make it. I don't even know why they even do that. The only one who was really good was Karen. Karen was fine. And they don't want to put Serena in. I don't know what they have against the Baldwins and Serena, like with Baldwin. Like I have no idea. Because I do believe Frankel should not have been his kid either. But yeah, that's just me. That is just me. Um, Also people were questioning Jack Stroke. And once Nina did reach Willow, she rushed that ass right to make sure that Drew got that dose, okay? And she literally came as just in time because he's moving his fingers, about to get the phone. So yeah, but it's just like let's kind of wrap this story up with Drew. Because it's dragging. I feel like it's been months now, right? Yeah, it's been months. Yeah, just yeah, let's kind of like move this along. But also, so Cassius tells Jocelyn, the story of how he came about to be. I don't really care about that. And then also Dante did say that he will protect his son as he should. Your son is coming first. I mean, we ain't gonna be like how you gotta tell people, the truth and stuff. Also, Jason made his decision. Jason always makes his decision to not be around his children. I'm just saying, like, but for me also, one of so I love me some Isaiah and Portia. I know Portia's a liar, and I don't give a goddamn. That's my girl. Period. But Curtis is so possessive and obsessed over her. It's freaking weird. You don't even want to be with her. You don't even want to be with this woman. You want to take the child that y'all created. I hate that he's the father. Now can we give Taggart back his daughter and Trina? I just hate that. But anyways, you want to say people can't touch her belly? Like, bro, and you punch Isaiah over that back, that is her man. And if she wants him to touch her belly, he could touch her belly. Granted, he did, poke the bear by, saying what the and saying like he would be a better father than him. But to be honest, he would. Isaiah would be such a better father. I cannot stand baldhead Scallywag Curtis. I cannot stand that character. Woo, Charlie just that's how I feel. So let's go on to the Young and the Restless. So people are starting to realize that Matt Clark is definitely alive and may have amnesia. So Noah had confronted him because Audra had seen him, and it was kind of like he's like, "This don't seem right." So of course he talks to his parents. They do all of that and trying to figure out how to get him, only for Phyllis to figure it out and keep him. So you already know that's what that's going to be. Nick is still struggling with his addiction. Josh has been kicking butt. Okay, he's been doing a magnifique job with the struggling with addiction, and also like just the talk that him and Victor had was essentially like so moving. As you can see, I just really like when families are able to get to the nitty-gritty about what is going on, and actors are able to really truly pour their emotions in to what they are feeling. It's it is literally great. Literally great. I love it, Dan. So also with that, we're also looking for a third co-host for Soapwire. So if you like to talk about stories, you have thoughts on all of them, shoot us a comment, send us a DM. We're on Twitter and especially TikTok and Instagram. So for Soap Wire on Instagram, it is soap underscore wire. For TikTok, it is soap dot wires. Shoot me a message, let us know. You can actually reach out to me on Twitter personally at lady2wise underscore ASA. I'll be sure to look at my messages. I haven't really been looking at my messages. Ugh. Sorry to my friends out there on TikTok land. I mean, Twitter land. I'm not calling the next. So yeah. And with that, that ends my thoughts on our story. So, just my thoughts, just my opinions. Ashley Sheree, of course. And once again, don't forget to check out Dresser Cheslow. That is dressercheslow.com. Dresser like fan dresser. Dressercheslow.com. Okay. Once again, whether you're planning for the future or navigating important family and property decisions, they have experienced team ready to work with you. Remember, they help individuals throughout New Jersey with estate planning, real estate matters, estate administration, and guardianship. Reach out to them, okay? Dresser Cheslow. And once again, thank you so much for spending time with me on the Soapbar podcast brought to you by the TV Cave as we talked about our stories. And with that, I just want to say bye. Oh boy, I cracked myself up.